The Monroe mansion sat on a quiet hill overlooking the city, glowing with wealth but heavy with silence. Inside lived 8-year-old Lily Monroe, the only daughter of a famous millionaire tech investor. For months, Lily had been mysteriously ill. Doctors came and went, tests were repeated, and medicines filled entire cabinets, yet nothing worked. She grew weaker each day, pale and exhausted. Her father, Richard Monroe, poured money into the best hospitals in the country but found no answers. Desperate and heartbroken, he hired a full-time nanny to watch over his fragile daughter. Sarah Bennett arrived one rainy afternoon, quiet but observant, carrying a worn suitcase and a gentle smile. She was nothing like the previous nannies. She spoke softly, listened carefully, and treated Lily as if she were her own child. Lily took to her immediately, though she was too tired to play much. Sarah noticed everything: the uneven breathing, the dark circles under Lily's eyes, the strange way her sickness always worsened at night. Something felt off. This wasn't the slow illness doctors described. This felt like something inside the house was draining the life from the little girl. Every evening, Lily would beg Sarah not to turn off the lights and not to leave her room. She shook with fear after sunset, whispering about sounds beneath her bed. Everyone dismissed it as childish imagination brought on by illness. Even her father, though kinder, believed it was fear of being sick. But Sarah didn't laugh. She listened. She stayed with Lily until she fell asleep, holding her cold, trembling hand. And every night, Sarah heard a faint scratching sound, like soft movement beneath the wooden floorboards. Days passed, and Lily grew weaker. She barely ate, barely spoke, and slept restlessly. Doctors suggested rare diseases, new treatments, and even experimental procedures. Richard agreed to all of it, spending millions without hesitation. But nothing helped. One night, Lily clutched Sarah's arm with sudden strength and whispered through tears, "It's under the bed again." Her voice shook with raw terror. Sarah felt a chill creep up her spine. That night, for the first time, she decided she would not ignore what the child was saying. When the house grew quiet and guards made their rounds, Sarah gently lifted Lily and carried her to the couch in the hallway. She tucked her in, whispered comforting words, and returned to the bedroom with only a flashlight. Her heart pounded as she knelt beside the bed. Slowly, she aimed the light underneath. At first, she saw only darkness and dust. Then the beam caught movement. Two terrified eyes blinked back at her. Sarah gasped, nearly dropping the flashlight. There was someone under the bed. Alive. Before the person could run, security was alerted. Guards rushed in and dragged out a thin teenage girl wrapped in dirty blankets. She was shaking, barefoot, and clearly malnourished. The girl screamed in fear, begging not to be hit. When Richard arrived, the shock on his face turned into horror as the truth unfolded. The girl was his niece, Maya, the daughter of his estranged brother who had died years earlier. After a legal dispute over inheritance, Maya had disappeared. Everyone believed she had run away. The truth was darker than anyone imagined. Maya had been secretly kept in the mansion by Lily's own stepmother, who despised the idea of any other heir. Driven by jealousy and greed, she hid Maya beneath Lily's bed, feeding her scraps in silence, using threats over years. Maya's presence caused Lily's constant fear and stress. The scratching sounds, the whispered sobs, the fear of nighttime, it all made sense. Lily's illness wasn't physical. It was fear slowly killing her from the inside. Police arrested the stepmother. That very night, Maya was taken to the hospital, weak but alive. Lily slept peacefully for the first time in months. Within days, her color slowly returned. She began eating again. Her fevers disappeared. Doctors were stunned. They confirmed that Lily had suffered from severe psychological stress, not a disease. The relief in the mansion was heavy with tears, of guilt, of anger, and of gratitude. Richard broke down when he realized all the money in the world could not protect his daughter from the cruelty hidden inside his own home. Maya's recovery was slow but hopeful. She had survived years of fear, darkness, and silence under that bed. Sarah visited her daily, sitting by her side, listening to her story piece by piece. Lily often joined, holding Maya's hand. The two girls formed a strange and beautiful bond, one healed from fear, the other learning trust for the first time. Richard arranged for Maya to have her own room, her own education, and therapy to help her rebuild her shattered childhood. The media never learned the full truth. Richard used his influence to keep the story private, protecting both girls from public exposure. The mansion, once haunting and silent, slowly filled with laughter again. Lily regained her strength each week. She began playing in the garden, riding her bike, painting pictures full of bright colors instead of dark shadows. At night, she slept peacefully without lights or trembling. Sarah remained by her side, no longer just a nanny, but the person who saved her life. One evening, Lily asked Sarah, "Why were you the only one who listened to me?" Sarah smiled softly and replied, "Because children tell the truth. Adults are just too busy to hear it." That simple answer stayed with Lily forever. Richard often watched Sarah with quiet gratitude. He realized that while doctors tried to treat bodies, Sarah had healed a heart. He offered her a permanent position with unlimited benefits. Sarah accepted, but with only one condition: that Maya would always remain part of the family. Years passed. The scars faded, but the lesson never did. Lily grew into a confident, kind young girl with a deep sense of empathy for others. Maya recovered her strength, finished school, and pursued her love for music. The mansion became a place of open doors instead of locked secrets. What once hid cruelty now echoed with second chances. And all of it changed because one nanny chose to believe a trembling child instead of dismissing her fear. On the anniversary of that night, Richard hosted a small family dinner. No press, no luxury, just candles, warm food, and quiet laughter. Lily raised a glass of juice and said, to Sarah, who looked under my bed. Everyone smiled, but tears shone in their eyes. Sarah looked at both girls and realized something powerful: sometimes monsters don't live in the dark. Sometimes, courage does. From that day on, Lily kept her bed low to the floor, with nothing hidden beneath it. But in her heart, she carried the memory, not of fear, but of the moment someone finally listened. And Sarah, the quiet nanny who trusted a child's voice, proved that the smallest act of belief can save more than one life.